Andy, it was a bit of a reach, but Andy Dick's mind is gone. Would have been the better direction.
Yes.
We talked about him. I forget if you or Craig was on the show. Do you remember we talked about him a few months ago on Adam Carolla's show?
I think it was me. Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard the voice. The voice is really, and we saw this with Artie Lang. You see this with guys where like the voice changes in a way where you're like, oh, this isn't even the same person in there anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Not that Andy Dick was ever all there, but this is just like a totally different guy. You can tell by the way he talks. And he went on the best possible podcast to expose that. But we love Matan Even here. We've talked about him a bunch before. But this was interesting because it's very rare you get like sincere moments out of Matan Even. Where I think Brian Callen was able to bring an almost sincere moment out of him when Matan gave him credit for coming on the show. But this was a real, like, Matan kept the character up the whole interview, but I think there was even a part of him that was like, this might be too much for me.
He found his ceiling. Matan found his ceiling. He's like, yeah, there it is.
Because Andy Dick is all fucked up. This is actually rough to watch.
Yes, this is called the intro. So this is how the show
just right out of the gate. This is what you get.
Excuse me.
If you can pull the mic close to your mouth, and then please.
Why don't you pull this close to your mouth?
Yeah, and then please, in case anybody doesn't know you, please introduce yourself.
Hi. There's 15 cameras going on.
Look
here.
in that middle one and introduce yourself.
I'm Andy Dick. I'm a movie star, television star, just star all around.
You seem extremely intoxicated right now.
I could be more.
Or what are you on right now? Drunk?
This and that and here, hither and thither. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Did your dad or mom? You're not gonna like that. Did they used to drink?
Like he has no idea. He's like, you're not gonna like it. He's all fucked up. And Carolla was a little more delicate with him, I think, because maybe they go back a long way. So Carolla might have been more kid gloves, but even Carolla got fed up with him by the end. But Matan, like that's his whole shtick is to call it out. So he has to say right out of the gate, "You seem fucked up, man."
Yeah, gave him some low-hanging fruit Matan there. He didn't have to do no research on that. Just
I think Matan like pulled back because I think if you're less ridiculous, that's when Matan has to really do work. But he didn't have to do anything for this one.
He made Matan the straight man.
Yeah, really.
This is called Get Sober.
Like for real, this is Matan's trying to help this guy. It's wild.
I don't think Matan can drink yet in America yet. He's still under 21, right? So this is
17.
Yeah.
Are you not worried that if you don't get sober soon, you might end up like a ghoul from Fallout?
Like a what?
A ghoul, basically a zombie. You're almost there. You're 90% the way there. That's not much different from how you are outside.
Right? So I'm already there. Oh wait, what's he going? Can I see what's in that?
Are you not worried about that though?
Worried about what? Seems like you are.
I'm a caring guy. I feel kind of bad.
Even like the character is like, yeah, man, I'm a little worried.
It's like a Matan intervention right here.
And it says something. If you're worried about Andy Dick, it really, because he's always been wacky. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But this is like, he keeps going to his fucking drink that's obviously full of something. He's slurring his voice. He sounds like a movie he was in. Old Will Ferrell when he gets stabbed in the neck with that dart. You're crazy, man. Like that. That's what his voice sounds like now. Yeah. So it's just bad, and it brings out Matan's gentler side, where he's like, "Yeah, I don't even know what to do with this interview. Are you all right?"
Ruins Matan, turns him into just like a PG act. Boom.
No.
Okay.
This is what Schaub should do. Go in, just like first have a public meltdown, so it's not like no one thinks it's a bit. You know, have a real public meltdown, and then go into Matan's studio after like a week of doing speedballs, like Farley on SNL, like going real banged up, and then maybe you'll get a gentler Matan. That's what Brendan Schaub has to do, I think.
Yeah, Andy Dick is the Lewis and Clark of empathy comeback tours here.
Yeah.
Come
I think that is a no. Do you think your friends would be doing you a favor by putting you down already?
Oh my God, I have friends.
Oh, we have a fungus growing out of the table.
Ow!
Andy Dick kind of tries to do bits, but it's tough. Like that, oh my God, I have friends line might have worked 20 years ago when he was just like the party guy. And they're like, Andy, you got to settle down now. You're a bit wild. Now it's like, hey, man, someone should be looking out for you. It's actually not a joke that you don't have friends. We're worried.
This man has been doing this for so long. It's crazy. He's the Keith Richards of like Hollywood, parties and being drunk.
I mean, the thing about Andy Dick is he never had a thing like Artie Lang in this state. I know, particularly you and me, because we love Artie Lang, we would be very bummed out by this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Artie
Oh my
Lang
God,
is a treasure in the world that he came up in. Andy Dick doesn't have that sort of a fan base. You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's no diehard news radio fans
gonna
that are heartbroken by this.
Well, that one episode of Star Trek he was on was pretty good, Mike. It was pretty good. I gotta
Right,
say.
yeah. In the Army now holds
Yeah.
a real place in my heart.
This one is called Memory. Probably lack thereof.
I assume. I don't remember, but I think that's a pretty good guess.
Irony. Oh, the irony. Here we go.
This is scaring me.
Do you think if you wake up tomorrow, you will remember this interview?
It's a good question.
I don't remember what I ate for breakfast.
Well, that's easier to forget, but I have a feeling you don't remember anything.
Yes.
And why do you think that is?
Dementia.
Dementia? What about the fungus? Maybe you have a fungus in your brain, possibly, or no?
Well, I have one right here, and
Oof.
he is trying to get in my butthole.
No, he's not. That's
Yeah,
gay.
he is.
See, you're gay. You're doing gay
What?
shit. Stay away from me.
I'm right here. I'm in it.
Yeah, but keep distance from me.
I'm over here.
Even the gay jokes Matan was making, I feel like he didn't fully get into them the way he usually does. Like usually he's very extreme. He's like, "Get away from me!" He'll like yell it. This was like, "Oh yeah, get away! It's crazy. You're gay." Ah, Jesus, this guy is melting down in front of me. Like I feel like Matan was really bummed, and it's actually kind of sweet in a way because you're watching Matan, who doesn't give a fuck about Andy Dick. You're watching him actually do something that I'm sure so many family members and friends have tried to do for Andy over the years. But like you're watching Matan do it, who has no dog in the race. And Matan does get to later the leeches that Andy Dick has around him. So ultimately it's sad. I mean, I guess this is not the time or place for this discussion. But like, what do you do with someone like this? You know what I mean? Like I've had addicts in my life where it's like, I guess at a certain point, like they have to want to help themselves. So there's nothing you can really do. So like, what the fuck do you do for Andy Dick other than just like let him die inevitably? I don't know.
It's crazy because Matan's whole thing is like, make it awkward. And then when real awkwardness is like overflowing the room, he's like, oh, this is way too fucking awkward.
I think that's good instincts. I still have no idea how old Matan actually is.
Mhm.
He says he's a 17-year-old from Israel or whatever. I don't know if I believe that 100%. But however old he is, like he does seem mature. You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised at the way he handled this well. Whereas like I think the instinct for someone maybe less talented than him would be to fuck with Andy Dick even more than he would other people. But he's smart enough to pull back and let Andy be the train wreck on this one.
And now he's going to ask some tough questions, Mike.
Good. It's about time, Matan. Turn the heat up.
Let's continue. You didn't answer the last question, but I don't think I'm getting an answer to any of these.
What's the last question?
We'll move on. Is asking if you're sober similar to asking if a bear shits in the woods?
Identical.
And why? Can you explain that in case the audience doesn't
Because
get it?
I'm not sober,
Yes.
and bears shit in the woods.
Yes.
Next.
Nice. You at least I got an answer. That's good. What the? At what point in your life did everything go wrong?
Doing this fucking interview.
No, it was way before that. Like
Really?
4
How
decades
long?
Ago. About six
Decades. So
6
40
decades ago.
years
No,
ago.
6 decades ago.
So 6 decades. That means 60 years. That means I was 10.
No, you're 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you weren't
So
10.
6.
You were not born yet. I'm saying it went wrong when you were in the womb.
You know, why don't you talk to my mom about it? Who's alive?
She's alive. That's nice.
Jesus.
Yeah, it just gets like uncomfortable because Matan can't do the usual fuckery. You know what I mean? Like he's had varying responses where like David Lucas got like angry with him. Whitney Cummings kind of fought back. Like people have had different responses to Matan, but this was a weird one where Andy was the show. Like Matan didn't have to do any work.
Makes Brian Callen look like a goddamn genius.
Yes, yeah. Brian Callen really shined compared to this asshole.
Let's Get Physical is the next one. I think there's some touching.
Yeah, this is Matan usually instigates it, but this one is a little more uncomfortable.
When people say they're California sober, they mean usually that they smoke weed and that's it. When somebody says they're Andy Dick sober, does that mean they're on a bunch of drugs and ready to grope random people?
Okay, how about this? Which one do you want? All of the above?
I want whatever is the best answer you can give me, please.
No, but what would you like to have happen to you?
Oh, no, don't fucking touch me. I'll start swinging.
Let me take my glasses off first. But
You got Andy Hard saying that.
you can see the scrapes I got into last night. But what's the question?
When somebody says they're California sober, they usually mean that they smoke weed and that's it. When somebody
Do you
says
have any?
any what?
Weed.
No,
You already told me you don't smoke weed.
I don't. When somebody
Okay,
says
I
they're Andy
do.
Dick sober, does that mean that they're on a bunch of drugs, high out of their mind, and ready to grope random people?
Take the groping part out. No.
You've been arrested for it like 8 times.
Okay. 8? Okay.
Something
You're
like that.
keeping track. Okay, good. You want it to be 9?
It's not gonna be 9. I'm a kung fu fighter, okay?
What's wrong with all of you?
I think we're all scared of you touching us.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah, open that up.
Can I ask a question to the
Really?
colored person?
Yes, hello, colored person.
Are you high right now?
On weed, yeah.
You are? Where the fuck's...
Love my weed.
Do you enable this type of behavior?
I don't like him drinking. I don't believe in drinking, but I do let him smoke though. But I don't let
Okay,
him.
it seems like that's
drink.
going
Well,
well.
you didn't smoke me.
How
out,
can you in
fucking
future
dumb-
try to prevent this behavior?
Sometimes I put a straight.
I
jacket on.
love this guy so much because he's trying to take care of me.
Well, I feel bad. This is almost a depressing thing.
Boo-hoo. Cry me
You
a
said that
river.
earlier. Pull the mic
Cry
closer
me
to
a-
you.
Cry me a river, boy.
I'm not that invested in it.
Okay, then are we done with
I've
the...
taken
No,
a
no.
Detox 2 times in a row.
Oh, I read that you've been to rehab 20 times or something like that.
33. Can we go
33?
then?
That's the record yet, or do you know? Is there an official?
37.
That's the record, 37.
This is what's sad is the people hanging on to Andy Dick don't give a fuck about him.
No.
And I mean, neither do I, by the way. So I don't really care ultimately what happens. But you hear in that clip, like Matan has more compassion for this man than the people around him, where it's like, yeah, man, I don't like when he drinks. Meanwhile, and he has drinks with him. You know, they didn't stop him from drinking. And they're like, but he can smoke a little weed or whatever. It's like the guy's an addict, and these people are trying to make a documentary about him, which Matan will address in a minute. But Matan has more compassion for this guy, where you hear him pull back there and be like, these guys are fucking enabled. You almost hear him. I don't know anything about Matan, the real guy. Like, I don't know what his conscience is like, but it feels like he's thinking, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with these people? And he keeps kind of pressing them for calling him out because Andy, you can hear by Andy being like, "Can we get out of here?" That might just be the addict in him that he's being questioned. He wants to leave, but it does not feel like Andy Dick was the one who was like, "Let's go on Matan Even's show." What do you say? And he really does live. He lives like a homeless man. If you see like, you heard him there where he's like, "I got into a scrape last night" and all this shit.
Yeah.
Like he lives like a homeless person.
He lives like he's in Mad Max all the time. It's and I like we said the last time we talked about this guy. Like I had some personal dealings with Andy Dick back in the aughts when we had a band in Hollywood. This is what he would do. He would literally like go to the Greyhound bus station and wait for like young men who are just to Hollywood to get off the bus. He's like, "Hi, you're going to be my helper," and they would just all exploit him, every single one of them. But he didn't care because they would also bring him alcohol. And it was the craziest thing that this is still going on like this, that he can still, because of fame, you can still find people. This is the Stuttering John thing, you know?
But what like how much money did Andy Oh, well, actually, I can answer my own question because both in the Corolla interview and in this one, I don't have as many clips of it this time because we talked about it with the Corolla one. But he says like all the money he makes now goes right to his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So like I don't think he has even any money left.
Nope.
Which is the crazy part.
There will always be star fuckers, Mike. And like in LA, when you come to LA, there are people that literally just like feed off the energy of others. And Andy will always go to a bar, find someone to buy him drinks, find someone to let him sleep on the couch. And now he's on his YouTube channel. Now Andy Dick's on your YouTube channel, and that's helping your YouTube channel.
And we see it with Stuttering John, who was less famous than Andy Dick, definitely.
Same fucking thing. Exactly the same thing. These guys should do a show. Stuttering John, Andy Dick would be an amazing show.
Yeah.
Exploited. Good topic here. That's what this next one is.
Yeah, I wonder what this is about.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some more interesting.
Why would you slap a drink out of my hand?
I didn't want to get out.
Matan slapped it. He was like, I'm not going to let you drink it here. I'm not like these assholes. I loved Matan after this. Like I said, maybe it's just for the camera. I don't know anything about this kid. But like, I feel like this interview showed me something that I didn't know about him, where Matan could have been the one exploiting Andy Dick, and it didn't get that sense. Andy sort of gives him the ability to do that because he's such a mess that Matan gets to look like the good guy. But I did grow a new respect for Matan, the way he treated Andy's addiction here.
The exact opposite of everyone in Los Angeles has treated Andy.
Right.
This kid is smarter than fuck.
Alcohol under my presence. I
Yeah, so you admit that this is a prison?
No, my presence. But I mean, basically, I locked you in here. Well, no,
I wanna leave. I wanna leave.
Leave. I just locked all of those guys out of here.
Who?
Those guys exploiting you for their documentary.
Okay.
You just realized that? Are they paying you for that documentary they're filming?
No.
They're not?
Don't make me sad.
That made you sad?
No, don't make me sad.
Did that make you sad?
I'm not sad. Look, I'm happy.
Yeah, extremely happy.
It's also hard to know. It's hard to know what's a bit with Andy Dick because the way he says that, maybe he's being sarcastic. He's in such a state that you can't really tell. But like, good for Matan for being like, it never crossed your mind that these fucking assholes are exploiting you. Like Matan calls them out for what they are. It's not getting through to that degenerate skull of Andy Dick's. No. But I really appreciated how Matan treated this one because it would be so easy to fuck with the train wreck, you know, to poke fun at him. And I mean, obviously in his own way, he is making fun of Andy Dick. You heard a lot of the pre-written lines and everything, but I don't think he realized what a mess was walking in there. And it felt like he pulled back a little bit.
One of the hardest things to do, especially as I'm a young podcaster, is to avoid the pile-on. You know, it's like easy to just like go, hey, everyone's flowing this way. Let's pile on. Let's jump on Andy. To stop and go, hey, what is wrong here? That shows a level of maturity that's beyond 17 years.
And we do, and Matan being a young guy grew up in a different time where like back in the day, it would have been, hey, have fucking, you know, Beetlejuice do math or whatever, like, exploit the retard or the degenerate or whatever. And Matan grew up in a different time where maybe he knows that would be looked down upon if he went into that too much. But
I also think
as a guy who's made his bones for fucking with people, I respected the way he approached this, where he was like, on some level, trying to get through to this maniac.
I think also Matan deals in comedy, and there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of comedy surrounding Andy Dick. So, if it was like a Beetlejuice or Eric the Actor, I think Matan could find the funny in that because it's
Sure.
funny.
Sure.
But where Andy Dick is just, this is
It's
not,
sad.
This is not
It's
funny.
tough.
Yes. We got a few super chats here.
Okay.
Droopy Balls, $4.99. Happy Thursday, good friends.
Thank you,
Happy
buddy.
Thursday to you, Droopy Balls.
Drew Peeble is one of the Havre de Grace 6.
Yeah. Jay Lorderer, $4.99. How many times have people tried to rehab Andy's career? Ugh, so many. Kimmel tried. Howard tried. It's over. It's over.
Can
for
I
Andy.
ask
Sad.
you? Maybe you're more aware of Andy Dick's career. Why is he around so much? You know what I mean? Like I said, with Artie or with Chris Farley had SNL and Tommy Boy. He had these major tent poles. Belushi had SNL and Animal House and Blues Brothers. Like they had these major things that you could point to and be like, that's why they kept getting jobs. That's why they were beloved, despite all their faults. Here's this major body of work. That's why they kept getting hired. Why is Andy Dick still around? Not that he's still getting hired, but he was for a long time. But there's no thing, like his biggest success would be news radio, right?
Yeah, so I think what's happened at a certain point is the soap opera of Andy Dick's life has become the focus of the curiosity. It's not that he's an ex-actor, but it would be as if Stuttering John had gotten 5 DUIs and had gotten arrested for groping a few people. He wouldn't be just studied by this small group of people called the Dabbleverse. He would be studied by a larger group.
No,
on the
but
internet.
I guess what I'm saying is with Stuttering John, I know why I know Stuttering John's name.
Yeah.
He was a big part of the Howard Stern show for the, maybe the best of its run. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he was on that show for a long time when a lot of people were listening. I guess what I'm saying is, why is Andy Dick? Why do we all know his name? Why is he so famous? Because he's never been in anything.
Yeah, just because my answer is he's kept his goddamn name in the news and headlines for decades, and it has nothing to do with acting. So that's just what all the news people refer to him as, actor. Even though
And I'll amend that. He's been in a lot of stuff, but he's never.
Yes.
It's never the Andy Dick project.
No, he was in the Ben Stiller. So he was at the begin. I give you an answer like he was at the beginning of a lot of revolutionary type shows that had an impact on other artists who watched those shows. The Ben Stiller show was huge in comedy. Everyone watched the Ben Stiller show. It was sort of like the first Eric Andre, Tim and Eric, just ridiculous kind of show. And so he was on that. And so same Janine Garofalo. What has she done? Same sort of thing. Everyone knows her. It's kind of where they were at a time in history, maybe.
I guess.
All right. Well, I'm trying to give you an answer here.
No, I'm with you. I understand.
John Blake. The one pun, $2. Andy went on Matan hoping Chris Hansen wasn't there.
Yeah, he probably thought he'd have a different outcome. Go to blindmike.com for Blind Mike, or go to whoarethese.com for Carl, and make sure you subscribe to both channels, or there will be no banter.